Hello, right, so I'm going to do a little tutorial series on Unity Playmaker. I'm not going to show you how to install it or anything like that because you should already know how to. But once it is imported, you'll notice a new little tab at the top called Playmaker. So if you drop that down and click Playmaker Editor, a new window will pop up. And this is where all of the visual scripting takes place. So you go ahead and snap that to the bottom. Don't be one of those people that have it at the top or on the side, just keep it at the bottom. So those of you who already know a little bit about coding in Unity will know that you add a script to a game object using the add component button in the inspector. So add component, new script, and then you open up that script in Visual Studio or Notepad++, whatever software you're using. In Playmaker it works a little bit differently. Instead you add FSMs to the game objects. Now FSM stands for finite state machine, and I don't really know what that means, but you don't really need to. What you do need to know is that you can add as many FSMs as you want to any object that you want to. So I've got two objects in my scene and I'm adding an FSM to both of them. You can even add FSMs to empty game objects like this, and you'll know it's got a FSM attached to it because in the hierarchy tab on the left hand side you'll notice the little Playmaker icon next to the game object's name. So in the FSM tab of the Playmaker editor, you can change the name of the FSM. So for example, if this one controlled the player's movement, I could call it player controls or something along those lines. I'm just going to call mine tutorial. And naming your FSM as soon as you create it is a good habit to get into, because when you start getting 20, 30, 40 FSMs, they can really start to get out of hand. You may have also noticed that there are two boxes on the left hand side, the lighter grey one being called a state. And a state is essentially a folder that contains a list of tasks eventually. And you can add more states by right clicking here and add state, right click in, add state. And the whole idea of Playmaker is that it performs these tasks top to bottom, moves on to the next state, performs those tasks, and moves on to the next one, and so on. Now these tasks are called actions, and you can access all of the actions available under the state tab with this button, Action Browser, and a big long list of pre-coded actions are here for you to utilize, from character controls to inputs. And to add them into your state folder, you just double click them and they get added. It doesn't take a wizard to understand what start means. Essentially, it's the first state that will become active. So when the game runs, it should become green whilst the others stay grey. And what's happening is that all of the actions within this state will be performed first, while these states won't be. Another thing to understand is that each FSM has a start state. So at the same time, this state will be running as well as this one. And that's pretty much it for the first tutorial. The next one will be on whatever I decide you should learn next.